श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। When anything is told, we don't want to change ourselves. And to get rid of that we have to change, we start finding excuses. And excuses can be generated like our boarding pass. See? We generate our boarding pass before going to the flight, is it not? Similarly, we generate an excuse. How? Oh, this is very difficult. Getting up early in the morning. Now, can't you give some other example? The same example again and again. You are teasing us because we cannot leave the bed early in the morning. And what did we study right from the childhood? Early to bed and early to rise is the way to be healthy, wealthy and otherwise. This kind of excuse hunting is common to everyone, and it is more so for those who want to change themselves. Their tragedy is they want to change themselves, but they don't want to change themselves. So when Bhagavan Sri Krishna has told a real spiritual practice will lead to equanimity. Being on the top of the world is going beyond the mind. What was told earlier in the 7th verse? Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukhadukkeshu tatha manapamanayoho. Shitoshna sukhadukkeshu. When all the pairs of opposite dash us, we don't lose our equanimity. And whether it is honor or dishonor, we are no more disturbed. Prashantasya. He has realized God. After having given this, then the teacher has taken us through a long journey. And again he came to the same conclusion. If we are really meaning business on the spiritual path, what is required is we have to attain equanimity. And once we attain equanimity, then we are a real a yogi, a seeker, a mahatma, etc. When this was what Bhagavan Sri Krishna concluded, Arjun Maharaj, he is now finding an excuse. See, therefore those who have got sympathy for Arjun, they can never learn. See, there are two parties in Bhagavad Gita. One party is Bhagavan Krishna and second party is Arjun. Don't be sympathizing with Arjun. Why we sympathize with Arjun? Because he represents us. Let us not choose the wrong leader. See? So if we have to follow not Arjuna but Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So what Arjun Maharaj says? Arjuna uvacha yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samena madhusudanam etasyaham na pashyami चंचलत्वात् स्थितिं स्थिराम् Arjun now raises a doubt, an objection. And this objection is what? An excuse. Every objection is an excuse. And when we find an excuse and we justify something, that time it is clear we don't want to do that. For example, anger. If we justify anger, unless you become angry, the children don't listen. You have to discipline it. You have to become angry. So for us, the anger is not important. See, disciplining children is important. And if we are becoming angry, what disciplined we are? See, friends, never justify that which will support your disturbed mind. Nothing in this world should disturb our mind. That is the goal. Because with a disturbed mind, you cannot perceive the things as they are. See? When somebody is, let us say, very happy, and he will see, oh, how beautiful, how nice. And the same person is disturbed, how horrible. One example I'll give you. I was going to Kedarnath, and there was one lady. She came for the first time. I never met her. Her mother told her, you are so disturbed, some fight with the husband. Why don't you go with Swamiji for a change? You will definitely like him. So, because the mother told, she came. Now that lady, she had 2 sons. And both of them were studying medicine. And she was also a medical graduate, doctor. So, she said, Swamiji, I came only because of my mom. I am not interested in you or anything. I said, okay, but I am interested in you. You are so nice. You are so smart. You are so bright. You are so educated. And I am just, Chora Ganga Kinare Wala. I know nothing. I am illiterate. So it is my honor that I am with you. When we started walking up the hill, it is 14 kilometers you have to walk. Now the road has become pretty good. Earlier it was terrible. Like yesterday walk we had, that kind of road it was. So when we started early morning at about 6 o'clock or 5:30. Swamiji, look. What is there to look? See the waterfall. Oh, how beautiful. I am feeling I am in the Himalayas, the waterfall, the culture, the tradition. See, Swamiji. I said, keep walking. You don't have any aesthetic beauty sense. Then I stopped. I said, look here. Now your lips are talking. After some times, your shoulders will start talking. After some time, your back will start talking. After some time, your hips will start talking. Then your thighs will start talking. Then your knees will start talking. Then your calf muscles will start talking. Then your ankles will start talking. And I'll tell you who is talking when. I don't understand you what you're talking. I said, don't worry. Have patience. Started. Again, how nice, how beautiful. I told them, don't carry anything, including your purse. No, your makeup things are required. There is nobody to look at you. So don't carry any load. But ladies, and they will listen, impossible. So she carried a bag. And their purse is basically a hold-all. It holds the whole world. It's called as a purse. So she carried. And after walking up the hill for about a kilometer or two, Swamiji, will you mind? I said, no, I am beyond mind. No, can you please hold my purse? I am having a terrible pain in my shoulder. I said, now your shoulder is talking. And after some time we went, Swamiji, how long? I said, now we have crossed only 4 kilometers. There are 10 kilometers more. 10 kilometers? Oh God. I said, now your back is talking. And when we are just going, last 1 kilometer, one gets completely tired and exhausted. Swamiji, I cannot walk anymore. I said, don't worry. You sit here, we'll all go, and there will be snowfall. And therefore, in the snow, the bodies don't rot. You will be preserved. And then we will send a message to somebody at home. They'll come and take you. Don't worry, okay? And we started walking. Swamiji, you are so terrible. I said, now your ankles are talking. The scenario remains the same. As is the mind, so is the perception of the world. See, friends. So, Arjuna Maharaj, so much agitated, so much disturbed. Friends, till such time you want anything in this world, including God realization, you are not fit for meditation. See? And for us, if I do meditation, what will happen? To whom? To meditation. Nothing is going to happen. Are we ready for this bargain? That we are going to lose everything, not gain anything. And don't we do this in deep sleep? We'll start losing everything, is it not? To an extent that when we are snoring away, even we have disowned our own body. It is this bargain. Then the truth is revealed. So when Bhagavan Krishna told about the equanimity, don't get disturbed by anything in this world. How it is possible when you will see that your son doesn't study, then you will see how bad feeling it is. Then cry with the tabla peti. See, friends, don't justify. You are getting disturbed. So Arjuna Maharaj says, Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samena Madhusudana. Hey Madhusudana, O Lord, this yoga that you have spoken of about equanimity, samena, that you have to remain equanimous under all conditions to such an extent that you dissolve. And when you dissolve, you are happy in the happiness of others. When you disappear, then you are able to extend your hand of help to any miserable person. Because there is nothing for you to gain or lose. See, friends, our life becomes like what? Not like the cricket umpire. Cricket umpire is when somebody bowls a perfect ball, he doesn't give any comment. Good ball. But if some mistake is done, immediately he points out. White ball, no ball. If the batsman is hitting a sixer, he simply tells sixer, that's it. Nothing beyond that. Well done. Umpire will never say. We should not be like the umpires in this world. We must be full of life. And what is that fullness in life? Is we are happy in the happiness of others. We are naturally able to extend a helping hand to a needy. Therefore, here Bhagavan's this question or statement, Arjuna objects. So, yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samena madhusudanam etasya ham na pashyami. I don't think it is ever possible. See? I don't think ever possible. Why? One day, I was somewhere in some ashram, casually sitting. So one person came. He said, Maharaji, do you belong to this ashram? I said, no. Then why are you sitting here? I said, okay, I'll get out. No, I don't mean that. I just want to know how the expenditure of this ashram goes. I said, are you an accountant, CA? An accountant cannot think anything except money. See, he cannot think anything else. And the most tragic thing for an accountant is to part with money. Even if it is somebody else's money, he will not give. See, if somebody has got a CA as the father, most unfortunate children. They just don't want to part money. So, I said, are you a CA or some investigating agency? No, I just want to know how the expenditure is conducted of this ashram. I said, people give donations. Donations? How much is the expenditure per month? Maybe 10 to 15 lakhs. 10 to 15 lakhs per month, and where from so much money comes? I said, people give donation. Donation so much? I can't trust. I said, how much donation you have given in your whole life? Oh, I have never given in a pie. A person who has never given 1 rupee donation, he cannot think that others can donate in lakhs. See, friends, here therefore Arjuna says, I don't think it is possible. Why? Because I am all the time disturbed. See, friends, a person who is all the time disturbed on every small issue, the mind is continuously agitated. We are not able to sit in one posture for one lecture. See, how many different asanas we take. In one posture we can't sit quiet. Our base is like the idli stone, that did not stable. I don't think it is ever possible. See, etasyaham na pashyami. Equanimity, I don't think anybody can ever have. Etasyaham na pashyami sthiram sthitim. Because the firm equanimity, I don't think it is possible, because chanchalatvat. Because the mind is so unsteady. It is not steady. See? So to keep the unsteady mind perfectly steady and equanimous, I don't think. So when this was said to Bhagavan Krishna must be having a peanut in his mouth. Go ahead. Every student who asks a question, he always have this notion that mine is the unique question and probably the teacher has not understood. Therefore, he explains his question because the teacher may not understand. So here Arjuna is explaining his question. He says, 34th, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna Pramathi balavadrudham. Pramathi is Rasva. Yesterday also I told. Pramathi balavadrudham Tasyaham nigraham manne Vayoriva sudushkaram. Hey Krishna, Manaha, the mind is having 4 or 5 problems. And that mind which has got 4 or 5 problems, to make it equanimous, how it is possible? Which are 4 or 5 problems? First, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Hey Bhagwan, the mind is chanchala, absolutely unsteady, like the round bottom flask. See, it's very unsteady, chanchalam. Then, second is pramathi. Pramathi means always revolting. There was a seeker who went to a Mahatma. Mahatma ji, tell me some, I will do sadhana. Okay, you chant Lord's name. How many times? Maybe 100 times will be enough. What Lord's name? Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Then I can see God? Yes, you can see God. Okay, I will show you right away. And started. When he started, look here, I have not completed my instructions. When you are chanting Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, that time you should not think about a monkey. Okay? Okay. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. But monkey was his carrier. Why monkey should not be chanted along with Bhagwan Ram's name? Oh God, I again thought of monkey. Okay. Again I start. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. See, I had not thought of monkey. Alright, again I thought. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. You tell something to your mind not to do, it will do it. Pramathi is so revolting. So chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi. And when the mind is revolting, it will not revolt itself only, but it will also pramathana, means stirring. Like we churn the yogurt to make butter and ghee out of it. In the same manner, when the mind is disturbed and revolting, it will be irritating all our senses. See, the mind is not only itself revolting, but it is spreading the revolt through all our faculties. See, pramathi. Then third, balavat. If it is pramathi, then control it. What control? It is stronger than me. Balavat. It is very strong. It is not so easy to control mind. Three things. Chanchalam, pramathi, balavat. And then, but you must again and again try. No, drudham. It is so firm that you just can't do anything with the mind. And if you ask me that you should attain equanimity of the mind, you know it is like what? He gives an example. Tasyaham nigraham manne vayoho iva sudushkaram. I understand this controlling the mind is as difficult as when the typhoons or the hurricanes are coming, that time you want to stop the hurricane. Hey, don't make such a noise. As it is impossible. In the same manner, to control the mind is the most difficult. I don't think I can do that. Means what? Tell me something else. Don't tell me about controlling the mind. See? When such is the seeker, then what the Mahatmas will do? Okay, do one thing. You go from here, you know that on the top there is a temple. You go there barefooted and lie down on the floor and put a line there. Again get up and say Om Namah Shivaya. Again lie down, again make a line, again get up and keep on walking in that manner. Then God will be pleased with you. See? Because we are unable to do something to our mind. We want something very gross. See? It is easier for anyone to comprehend the gross things. But as we go subtler and subtler, the comprehension becomes more and more difficult. One day, one boy asked me this question. Swamiji, you people talk about mind. Where is the mind? I said, okay. You answer my questions in your mind. Okay, don't answer loudly. Then I told him, I'll tell you some mathematics. 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 8 minus 8. What is the reply? 0. Where did you do this? In the mind. There the mind is. See? Therefore, that mind which we can't even comprehend. And now that mind you want us to control. It is as difficult as asking the hurricane to switch off. Impossible. And when this was said by Arjun, now Bhagavan Krishna has to deal. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha griyate. This verse has its origin in Patanjali Yoga Darshan, where Patanjali Maharshi tells right in the beginning the Samadhi Pad, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. When we have to control the thoughts, the different kinds of modifications, the technique is Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam, by these two techniques. The same two techniques Bhagavan Krishna tells here. But before telling them, he has to first invoke confidence in the student. See? If we keep on condemning the student, you dumb, you know nothing, you are good for nothing. Slowly, slowly, the child becomes like that. I'll tell you an example. Once it happened somewhere, there was one girl, I hardly used to meet her in her own house because she used to go early morning, maybe about 9 o'clock for her work. And I used to go before that 6 o'clock for my meditation class. So by the time I come back home, she has already gone for work. And in the evening again I used to go for my lectures. So 6 to 7:30 lecture, then for dinner somewhere. By the time I come, it is again 9:30. So by then she had already come, finish her dinner, she used to sleep. So we hardly used to meet. See, one day it was a holiday, Sunday, etc. So morning she was relaxing. I came home and something was being prepared. So I said, hey, give me some water to drink. Her mother immediately commented, don't break the glass, okay? Now she is a girl working in some office. But the mother is a mother. She has to say something. Otherwise, how can be she mother? So she told her daughter, don't break the glass. And she got the glass of water, and while drinking, Mummy, I am not a baby, and attacks her breaking. See, I told you. Then, next day when she was going, that was her birthday. So, new sari was given to her. I said, hey, go with your nice, beautiful sari. You are looking so wonderful, beautiful. And she was going on her scooter always. I said, but when you go on scooter, don't tear your sari. I said it, and it happened. See, when we keep on condemning all the time the children, slowly they become like that. See, we should never go on giving this negative input to the children all the time. Here also, the teacher knows this technique. Therefore, he doesn't say, Arjuna, you are a fool of the highest order. No, he says, hey Mahabaho, Arjuna, you are such a great warrior. I feel good. See? Hey Mahabaho. Mahabaho means what? Oh, most powerful one. How Arjuna was powerful? Because his presence in the Pandavas gave self-confidence to them. And his presence in the Pandavas created a terror in the Kauravas. And therefore, he was addressed as Mahabaho. If we want to really help somebody, what is most important is we should be able to inculcate self-confidence in a person. What is most important in life is self-confidence. If we don't have self-confidence, we are completely gone, whatever we may be. See? Therefore, Hey Mahabaho. Second meaning is, you are so powerful a person, and how can you say such a pessimistic language, oh, it is very difficult? It doesn't suit you. Therefore, asamshayam. Yes, you are perfectly right. My dear Arjun, you are such a great warrior. It is difficult, no doubt. I agree. I didn't say it is simple. Asamshayam Mahabaho Manaha Durnigraham. Very difficult to control. And Chalam. And it is very unsteady. We totally agree. But it is not impossible. See, friends. Something is difficult and something is impossible. It is totally different thing. This is what many people don't catch it. Like, many grahasthas, they talk to us. Swamiji, you are a sannyasi, for you it's okay, but we are grahasthas. What do you mean? When you say you are a grahastha, does it mean you want a reservation quota for realization? Therefore, there should be 95% reservation for the grahasthas. And sannyasi should struggle. See? It is not Government of India's policy. See? Here you have to deserve before you desire. See? Then what should be the understanding? If it is difficult, we have to put more efforts. See, friends. And when we say something is difficult, and if we have understood the value thereof, we will not complain, we will put efforts. See? Like the example I gave. Earning money is not a simple affair. But don't we put effort to earn money whichever way? Above the table or below the table, doesn't matter. See? Ultimately we have to earn the money. Now why we earn money by hook or crook? Because we know the value of money in life. In the same manner, when we come to know the value of equanimous mind, we will put forward efforts. We have not understood the importance thereof. See, friends, it is so important. We all have gone 100 times to the temple before the God. How many of us have ever prayed, "Oh Lord, please make my mind so pure that you can descend in that mind"? Never. We go to the Lord with a big list. Not for making our mind pure. Because anyway, my mind is very pure. All garbage is seated over there. See, friends. Therefore, Bhagavan says, yes, it is difficult, no doubt about it, but it can yet be controlled. And what are the techniques of control? Two techniques, Abhyasena and Vairagyena. Abhyasa is practice again and again and again. See, our condition that we are in is earned, developed, nurtured for lives together. See? Now see the simple thing. The body is not created by us, the body doesn't listen to us, therefore we cannot be the body. Intellectually, by any method you think, it is not acceptable that we can be the body. Is it not? And yet, our whole life, what we have lived, as the body, for the body, on everybody. See? So unless we want to change ourselves, who can help us? Therefore, friends, spirituality means the readiness to change and the ability to change. Swamiji, I am always ready to get up in the morning, but I cannot get up. What should I do? One doctor in USA. I was staying in her house. Swamiji, can you help me? I said, yes, you keep me in your house all the time. Every morning I get up 4 o'clock, I'll open the fridge, take out the cold water and give you, like Lord Shiva is given the Abhishekam, early morning I'll give you Abhisheka and Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Utho. See, such lazy people, those who cannot leave their bed without anybody's help, and those who cannot come out of the sleep without an alarm, they are good for nothing. Ram, 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 Ram. See, I was somewhere in Coimbatore, somebody's house. And one sweet girl like our girls, she gave me one gift. Swamiji, I want to give you something. I said, okay, give. She nicely packed it. I said, okay, I kept it. You don't have manners, Swamiji. What happened? When some gift is given, you have to open, before the person. I said, I don't know. Anyway, I opened it. And then, oh, very nice. Tell me, why did I give you? I said, no, gifts are never asked why you gave me. You gave, I accepted. No, I tell you why I gave you. I gave you because you have to get up early in the morning. So this is a beautiful Japanese alarm clock. So in the morning, you will be able to get up. I said, throw in her lap. Take it back. I said, I don't wake up in the morning because of that small plastic piece. Can't we have that much control? Both to get into sleep and to get out of sleep. If that we can't achieve, every time we want alarm, and even if alarm goes crack. See? That kind of useless people are not fit for spirituality. See? Therefore, abhyasena tu kaunteya, practice we can. It is not impossible. Anything we can do by practice. See, I tell you, I have a friend, I don't know where is he now. He did practice, he was right-handed. But he did practice of writing all the digits by left hand. 1, 2, 3. That was his practice. And when he was grown up, when a question of writing came, text, he used to use the right hand. When the question of mathematical calculations came, he used to use the left hand. And both hands he could do effectively well. It's a question of only practice. Nothing is impossible through practice. Through practice, when we mistake the body to be ourselves, so it is by practice alone we can discard the body to be not ourselves. Abhyasena tu kaunteya. We have to again and again insist. And it is for this purpose, everything is told in our scriptures. But other than this, we understand everything. So, abhyasena tu kaunteya. Second, vairagyena cha griyate. And for practicing something, we require tremendous dispassion. Unless you are ready to give up your wrong notions, you are not born as a spiritual seeker. Upanishad says, na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, tyage naike amritatva manashuhu. Not by a number of good karmas or by giving charity or doing a lot of activities. Only by giving up wrong notions. There is no other way. And if we want to give wrong notions, we have to have a courage and the ability to reject that which is discovered to be wrong. See? You know what happens? You must have also come across. One day I was driven by a person for breakfast to his house. He was driving the car, his wife was driving him, and both of them were driving me mad. So in this manner, a great driving procession was going on in that one car. And then that lady asked me a question. Swamiji, why some people don't like to go to satsang? So when she said like this, husband said, Swamiji, this is addressed to me, not to you. Because he used to drop her for my satsang in Bombay. And from there he used to go to a coffee club and have a little bit of, cards and have nice coffee and have some vada, sambar or something like that, and then again come, pick her up and go home. That was the routine. So she was all the time telling, why don't you come? He said, did I object your going? No. Why do you object my life? You live your way, I live my way. Okay. So ladies are very intelligent. So she asked this question. Why some people don't like to go to satsang? They are not bad, but they don't like to go to satsang. So I said, you ask him directly, he has told. He says, Sanjay, I don't know, but what she tells is true. I don't like to go to satsang. I don't know why. It's not that I hate satsang, but I don't like to go. I said, I'll tell you. Are you ready to listen? Yes. We are all leading our life under some wrong notions. And when we go to satsang, our wrong notions are hammered, chiseled. And then we get a shock of our life. Oh God, my whole life I was living in a fool's paradise. And one is not ready to accept one's foolishness. Therefore, better not to go. ठीक है, महाराज जी आइए. See, friends. Therefore, Vairagya is for what? If we have really accepted intellectually that this is wrong, it needs to be changed. One has to have dispassion. Then only we can change ourselves. See, friends, it is very difficult to accept one's wrong notions to be wrong and ready to change oneself. Therefore, here Bhagavan gives these two techniques. Practice, abhyasa, and readiness to change oneself. You will see most of the places our spirituality is what? Our spirituality is, our children should be able to chant Sanskrit, our children should do this thing. And what about us? We are a gone case, prognosis is grave. See? Only in the next life, if Bhagavan wants, he may do something. See, friend, that is not spirituality. You change. Therefore, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha griyate. Continuing further, asamyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मति. Bhagavan says, according to my understanding, my dear Arjuna, asamyatatma, the one who doesn't have self-control on himself or herself. Friends, I'll tell you one very simple equation. Self-discipline is a freedom. Imposed discipline is a bondage. How simple it is. See? The other day, one of my friends asked me this question. Swamiji, I don't understand you. I said, never mind. Give me food, that is more than enough. He said, no, I came from Australia and I stayed in Bombay for only one night. Next night, I flew to London. So he asked me this question. Swamiji, I don't understand you. You have no ashrams, you have no chelas, you have no projects. What is that which is making you run round the world for what? See? I said, okay, I'll stop running and I'll come and stay with you for the whole life. No, I don't mean that. See, friends, if I move in this world because of somebody, it will be a burden. And when I have chosen myself, it is a freedom. See the simple thing. You know, one person in North India, Gujarat or UP somewhere, he said, Swamiji, I am always envious of your life. You go to so many places, nice food, nice people. I said, you join with me. And I went to South India, Coimbatore. So I said, but one condition, you have to come everywhere I go. It's not like that you go for a movie. No, Swamiji, I will be with you. I said, okay. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Third day, he said, Swamiji, I am ready to pay as a penalty for every breakfast, lunch and dinner, but I don't want to come. I said, why? Oh God, every time, same idli, vada, dosha, uttapam and sambar. Oh God, I have started dreaming about idli. See, I am a Punjabi, I like paratha and I am not getting that. How can you eat all the time the same idli? I feel instead of taking a bedsheet on the cover, I am taking a dosha all the time. See, I said, now you understand? Oh God, how are you living like this? I said, you come with me, our life is very comfortable. When you take heavy breakfast, you have a choice. That today, I will bypass my lunch, darling, please don't mind, okay. But for me, it's no choice. Breakfast is fixed somewhere, I have to eat that. Lunch is already fixed, whether you are hungry or not, who cares? And everywhere you go, because I go to their house only once in a year or two. So they feel that we should give the best food to Swamiji. In Idaho, USA, a Andhra family is my host. And that lady, she has been listening me last almost 10-15 years. When they were shifting to USA, she said, Swamiji, I am not going to shift to USA because there is no satsang there. I said, if you have little bit of respect for my words, you go. Don't leave your husband. Your husband is more spiritual than you. So she went there. So she is my host. When I went, I said, look here, Mama, I take only 2 chapatis. Those days I used to eat chapati. No rice, but not more than 2 chapatis. Okay? Okay. You prepare chapati on that round platform, is it not? So she removed that round platform. And on the table, she made chapata. And a huge one, 2 of them. And she said, Swamiji, you told you eat only 2, I have prepared 2. I said, Amma, do you think I am a dabba? You go on piling it up inside. See? Therefore, it is necessary that we have to have self-discipline, then life is a fun. If the discipline is imposed, then it is a punishment. See? Simple thing. This is the fundamental of life. Live with self-discipline, life is a fun. Discipline imposed, life is a burden. If these fundamentals are clear, life is a fun. If this fundamental is not clear, life is mental. We have to have our fundas clear. Therefore, asamyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi. Bhagavan says, those who are not self-disciplined, they cannot achieve anything in life. You see, all the great people, whether in the material world or the spiritual world, the one common denominator in all of them is they are self-disciplined. When to sleep, when to get up, how to adjust, how to do the things. And in that self-discipline, what we achieve is complete freedom. We are absolutely independent. Whether somebody is there or not, something is there or not, we are never stuck up. See, friends, therefore it is most essential. Bhagavan says, asamyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi. It is almost impossible for them. Therefore, vashatmana tu yatata. But the one who has a self-disciplined life, therefore the mind is well under control, shakyo aptum upayataha. For such a person, that controlled mind is properly engaged. Now what is the proper engagement of the controlled mind? Number one, study of scriptures. By the study of scriptures, we get a proper vision. And when we get a proper vision, our understanding is totally different. See? The vision we have to change. And the vision can be changed only by the study of scriptures. Our angle changes. Now see, this camera is in front of me. Suppose one takes a picture from below angle. How I will be looking? Like a lambu. Tall, is it not? If a picture is taken from above, I will be looking a shorty. And if the picture is taken exactly at the eye level, then I look normal, is it not? In the same manner, how do we look at the world? Are we looking at the world from the waves point of view? Or we are looking at the world from the ocean's point of view? Or we are looking at the world from the water's point of view? When we look at the world from the waves point of view, competition, jealousy, frustration, friendship, enmity. When we look at the world from the ocean's point of view, everyone is my own. And when I look at the same world from the water's point of view, ocean the cause, waves the effect, both are imagination on the substratum, the water. We have to change our vision. And this vision can be changed only when we are perfectly self-disciplined and the mind is available to us. See, friends, for us, even to focus our mind in one talk of, let us say, 75 minutes is such a difficult thing. What is the reason? The mind is never trained. Therefore, as I told you on the first day, simplest spiritual practice is this: whatever you do, do it wholeheartedly. Very simple thing. Never do anything in life half-heartedly. If you talk to somebody, talk fully. If you don't want to talk, withdraw completely. See? When you are eating, enjoy every bite. Once this faculty we develop, then with the same faculty, when we sit for listening, our mind will not run anywhere. When we are talking, let there be any disturbance, our thought line will never break. Many times it happens, you must have seen. People, the lecturers, the one who give pravachan, he starts the subject and tells some story in between. And he himself gets carried away by the story to such an extent that he has to ask, Arey Baba, what I was telling you I have forgotten. When this happens, his mind is not under control. Therefore, Vashyatmana tu yatata shakyaha avaptum upayataha. By proper means, we will be able to control the mind and make it absolutely equanimous. And I told you in the morning class, the technique, try it, friends. You don't require anything outside. Whenever you are not doing anything, sitting quietly, sit wherever you are sitting. And simply go on labeling every breath. Inside, Hari. Outside, Om. Hari, Om. Hari, Om. Hari, Om. Hari, Om. See what a difference it is. Your mind will stop running here and there. Initially, you may be able to do it 2-3 times. Again, the mind will run. Never mind. Again, start. Except while driving. While driving, keep mind on the driving itself, In this manner, give it a try. Give it a try. It will help. Therefore, Vashyatmanatu yatata shakyo avaptum upayataha. Now, after having given this technique, again Arjun Maharaj is becoming a social worker. See? That is why I never entertain those questions which are social worker type of questions. So, Amiji, but people are like that. So, why are you worried about the people? See? Do we go to the doctor and ask a question like this thing? Doctor Sahab, what is the condition of dysentery in Malaysia? No. We go to the doctor and tell Doctor Sahab, I have got a dysentery, kindly plug. I can't anymore leak now. Isn't it? We don't go and ask the doctor, what is the condition of dysentery for Malaysia? Hare Ram. In the same manner, ask your problem. One lady was asking me this, one man was asking me this question. Swamiji, in this society there are so many bad and good elements. Sometimes you may not be knowing. If the wife is beating the husband, what that husband should do? I said, if you are appointed as an advocate by that husband, then go to court. And if it is you, then straight away tell, my wife beats me, what I should do. Swamiji, you are too straight. Why? What happened? This is true. This is my own case. So what I should do? I said, you should, whenever she comes with a danda, put a pillow. I read one funny joke on internet. Indian, American and Pakistani. So the three of them did some sin and they went to the hell. And when they went to hell, the one who was punishing, he said, all of you are given 100 hunters. Before we start, tell us your last wish, then we'll give you punishment. So the American thought, he said, kindly tie a pillow to my back and then give me the hunters. So a pillow was tied and one after another whipping was done. After 50 whipping, the pillow broke and he has to get the 50 whips. Then the Pakistani was asked. He said, tie 2 pillows. And again the same thing was repeated. So instead of the 50 whips, he got 25 whips because 2 pillows. Then the Indian said, I want 2 wishes to be fulfilled. 2? Yes. Okay. First, make my punishment double. What kind of thing? Others are getting 100 whips and you want double, 200, yes. Okay, made 200. Then tie to my back the Pakistani. Do it. So let our inquiry be subjective. It should not be in general. No, why the people are like that? That is not the way. So what Arjuna asked the question? Arjuna uvacha ayati shraddhayopeto yoga manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Hey Krishna, ayatihi shraddhayopetaha yoga chalita manasaha. This is our case. Shraddhayopetaha, he has full faith. He is not condemning. We have to practice yoga, we have to practice control of mind, we have to attain equanimity. Shraddhayopeta, he has faith, accepted this principle. But what? Ayatihi, he is lazy, he does not practice. What is the use of that faith which is not practiced in life? See? No, I have faith in God, but I will do the wrong things. What is the use of that faith? So, ayatihi shraddhayopeta and yoga chalita manasaha. And because of his lack of self-discipline and practice, yoga chalita manasaha, he is not practicing yoga in his life, therefore the mind is always disturbed. See? Yoga chalita manasaha. Now, such a person, aprapya yoga samsiddhim, naturally, he will never attain the perfection in yoga. Then the question comes, what happens to him? Because of his faith in yoga, he will not indulge in the worldly enjoyments. He has to control and have self-discipline. But he is not having the self-discipline properly done. So neither he is enjoying the world, nor he is having the self-discipline. See? So what will happen to such a person? To enjoy the world, you are required to be indulgent, is it not? Like yesterday we went. So those who have gone, they enjoyed. And those who are not gone, they were suffering. I wish I should have come. I don't know. To such people, what happens to them? See? So, ayati shraddhayopeta yoga chalita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. What happens to them? See? They are only frustrated. What happens to them? Kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Continuing the thought. Kachinno bhaya vibhrashtaha Chinna bhramiva nashyati Apratishto mahabaho Vimudho brahmanapati. Such a person, he is neither able to enjoy this world nor able to reach the other world. See? To enjoy this world, you require a qualification called as solid ignorance. Then only you can enjoy this world. If you go to Bombay, go to Chowpatty. And on Chowpatty, there are all UP bhaiyas who are having their stall of these various chaat and those, they make some puri and all kinds of things. Bhel puri, pani puri or bhel puri, something like that. They make it. And if you are ignorant, you will enjoy that. How? They will take a paper of, newspaper, make a cone, and like Brahmaji has prepared this world, they will be taking element air, element fire, element water, element earth, and make like this thing, and Brahmaji then pumps life into that, and we are thrown in this world. In the same manner, those bhaiyas, they prepare pani puri or that bhel puri. They will be taking a paper and put the things in that, everything, and before giving it to you, they will give you the biological salt. See, that is why it tastes so unique. So if you do not know this, you will enjoy that. And if you know that, you cannot enjoy. Therefore, to enjoy this world, we are required to be ignorant. Our condition is very precarious. We are neither ignorant nor wise. Arjuna's condition was that. Yudhishthir was wise. He had no problem about the war. Bhima was committed. He just wanted to open the chest of this Duryodhana, Dushasana, take out the heart like a coconut, drink the blood, and he did it. He had no problem. The twins, Nakula Sahadev, they were the wisest of all. They knew whatever elder brother is doing, the best way is to be a follower, never be a leader. So they are just following him. So there is nothing to think. But in between, this Arjuna was neither the wise nor the otherwise. Such people suffer the most in this world. See? Therefore Arjuna asked this question. Kachinna ubhaya vibrashtaha. Such a person who is practicing yoga, he has neither attained perfection in yoga, and for attaining the perfection in yoga, he has given up his worldly enjoyments. So neither he could enjoy the world, nor he could attain perfection in yoga. His condition is like the cloud in the sky. The winds come and destroy and disperse the cloud and goes nowhere. In the same manner, such a person who is practicing half-heartedly, he is neither able to enjoy the world nor able to be really spiritual. What happens to them? They have all the complaints of the whole universe. Continuously complaining. I'll tell you one example. Once in India, somebody got his daughter or son married. And for that, he was a very rich man, and he hired a plane, and all the cinema actors and actresses, they were invited. And the marriage was conducted 37,000 feet high above the mean sea level. Naturally, it is a huge expenditure. He must have spent crores. When that was done, the news came, one of my friends asked, Swamiji, see how much money they are wasting. If they had given this money for such a project, so many people would have fed. I said, why are you jealous? If you want to do charity, do from your pocket. Don't look at somebody else's pocket, what they should do. See, such people neither are able to enjoy the beautiful world, nor they are able to withdraw completely. See, friends, Kachinno bhaya vibrashtaha chinna abhram iva nashyati. Like a disintegrated cloud, they are disappearing nowhere. Apratishtaha brahmanapati. They are neither rooted on the path of spiritual evolution, nor they are able to enjoy the world. Such people are leading a disgusting existence. One example I'll give you. There was one lady, one day she came, and the best time of my life is when I take my cup of tea. That time I am on the top of the world. And when I prepare tea myself, then it is really good. When others prepare, I had to say it is good. So it was really good because I had prepared myself. I was enjoying. She came. Swamiji, sorry I did not take your appointment. I just came like that. I said, anyway, what is the problem? Problem, Swamiji, I am spiritual. I get up early in the morning. I take cold water bath. I do japa so many times. I don't take any spicy, any non-vegetarian. I take only the naturopathy food. And I don't see TV. I don't go to movie. No, nothing. I am leading only pious spiritual life. Yet, me and my husband non-stop fight. My officer in the office, he never likes me. My subordinates never cooperate with me. I don't have friends. My children have written me off. I am doing so much of spirituality. Why this is happening to me? I said 2 principles before I talk to you. No argument, no discussion. Are you ready? Yes. First, you stop your all spiritual activities. Go to movie, see TV, eat good food, take vitamins, and the most important thing, from here directly go to a beauty parlor and make yourself presentable to the world. You are looking like a chudel. This is not the way spiritual life is. Chudel means like a devil, you know. That is not the way. Live fully. Many times we have got this funny notion. Simple living, high thinking is mistaken for shabby living and stupid thinking. See, we must be perfectly dressed and perfectly able to address both the things. Never compromise on this. Whenever you go out of the house, our makeup is incomplete unless we wear a smile. Then move in this world. See how beautiful it is. Otherwise, no proper oiling is not done. The hair are like that, and all kinds of juices were secreted. The markings are on the face, and we go there. Hare Ram, 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 Ram. See? Clean, neat, perfect, beautiful, handsome, good looking. Anybody should be attracted towards us. See? Spiritual life doesn't mean living a life of a dumb fellow, no. So, apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmanapati. Such person, neither they are able to achieve anything great in their life, in the material world, nor on the spiritual path. Etan me samshayam Krishna Chetumarhasya sheshataha Twadanya samshayasyasya Chetanayupapadyate. Hey Krishna, etan me samshaya chetum arhasi asheshataha. Hey Bhagwan Krishna, please help me remove this doubt completely. I am always having this problem. That somebody has been good for so many years, but suddenly something happened and he has done wrong. One example I'll give you to make this point. Once a person told me, Swamiji, right from childhood, I have been giving good samskar to my children. And the net result is, my children has revolted against me. They just have dumped me. Why this has happened? I said, because you are overdone. Never overdo anything in life. But whatever they have studied in their childhood, it will not go waste. When the right time comes, it will surface. Therefore, even if we don't understand, even if we are not able to comprehend fully, yet what we learn during our childhood, it gets stored in our system. And when a ripe time comes in our life, it starts sprouting. Therefore, he says, this is my doubt. And this doubt of mine, that neither we are able to get involved in the worldly enjoyment because of spirituality, nor we have been able to attain perfection on the spiritual path. Such a person is neither belonging to this world nor that world. What should be done under this condition? Please tell me. So this is the question. Chetum arasi asheshataha. Knowledge with doubt is called as ignorance. We have to have a doubt-free knowledge. Doubt-free knowledge is conviction. And we all live convictions only. So today our conviction is I am the body. To the same extent, to the same intensity, when our conviction is we are someone other than the body, the quality of life will bound to change. See, friends. So what is required is changing this conviction. Like if you see, these terrorist people, they are so convinced that when they go and kill innocent people and when they die, they will go to the heaven and there will be 7 damsels waiting with the garland and my honey has come, he has killed 500 people, so I will like to have him. They are so fully convinced about it and therefore they don't mind killing themselves. We have to get ourselves convinced. Therefore this conviction is necessary. Twadanya samchayasyasya chetana hyupapadyate. And O Lord, other than you, who can help me get out of this funny doubt that I have? Please help me. In reply to that, Bhagavan Krishna tells, and what he tells, with that topic, we will conclude our this session in the next talk. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Nasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.